Hello, beautiful souls. All right, one more about healing. Da-da-da, you're swimming through your healing. You're doing it. You're getting better. You think you're getting better, but you're not sure. So, how do we know if we're actually improving? This is a great question. It's actually sometimes really hard to tell. Sometimes it's super easy. Like, it's really clear to you. You're moving through life and you can tell like things that were bothering you are not bothering you anymore. So here's a fun one. When I first started meditating, I was about 6 weeks into this beautiful moving practice. I finally figured out how Elena needs to meditate, and I was like doing this beautiful movement practice, and I wasn't specifically trying to heal anything except that I just knew I was going to get better. And we went to this restaurant. I lived in Thailand at the time, and it was still very early. My restaurant Thai was really bad, and I would order, I was still at the stage where I would order things and sometimes it would just be completely the wrong thing. And they would come and I wouldn't necessarily say anything, but I would be so pissed off. I'd be like, oh my God, why didn't you tell me? You could have just asked me a question. I'm speaking Thai to you. Well, okay. What I knew many years later is it's really impolite to like act like someone isn't clear. Like if they're doing their best, then you honor that and you bring them what makes the most sense to you. And so they were actually being really kind by not asking me questions about it because I was doing my best to speak Thai. So they were doing their best to honor that effort. But I was like, I want what I want to eat. And I want you to ask. Like, I just didn't get that at all. And I was really upset. So here I had been meditating for 6 months. My restaurant Thai is still really bad. I'm still getting really mad. And what happened is I'm in this restaurant. I order something. I think everything's great. The woman brings me something that I don't like at all. I don't even want it. And I didn't get mad. Where'd that come from? So that's an obvious one, right? Sometimes when we're healing stuff, it's really clear. It's like, wow, okay, my anger issues are getting better. Sweet. Yay. But what about those times when it's not so easy to tell? So my anger issue is actually huge, or was. I mean, maybe it still is, but now I know how to work with it. So it's not so much of an issue anymore. I still have a lot of anger. I just know how to work with it. And there was a lot involved in that. And so if you're going on a big healing journey to work with something really intense, you want to know, is this getting better? And if it's really intense or long, it's taking you a long time, how do you track that? How do you know? So there's a couple things you can do. First is the obvious one that I just pointed out is notice normal triggers for you, normal stimulus. You know, like things as you're moving through life that normally would really upset you. Start to notice, am I less upset right now than I usually would be? If it's anger, right? Am I less angry? Whatever you're working with, whatever the thing is you're wanting to heal. So again, it might be abandonment, you know, and I'm in I'm in a situation and I'm feeling really abandoned. Do I feel slightly better right now? Am I more able to be more conscious of myself? Am I able to breathe through this a little more? Am I doing my normal actions, reactions, speaking that I would normally be doing? Am I able to be a little kinder to myself? Am I able to be a little kinder to the people in the situation itself, right? So there's noticing as much as you can how you're doing by just noticing the situations as they're coming. Okay, that's one way. Another way is a way that's super, super good to do. I hate it though. And that's journaling. Journaling is one of those things where whenever I do it, it's super helpful. I'm always glad I journal when I journal. It's really hard to get myself to do it. It's like, I don't like lifting weights either. Really hard to do. So if you can, if you're doing a big long journey of something, or you're like, okay, I'm really gonna work on this thing, and it's deep and heavy, and I want to do this thing, definitely, highly, 1000% recommend journaling. Why? Because you will be able to see how you change over time based on what you write. So what should you write? It can be super simple. Just write what you're thinking about and how you're feeling in different situations around what you're healing. So for me, when I was working with anger, I would have written, you know, how do I feel about anger? How am I interacting with anger, my anger? What are some situations that happened to me and recently that really made me angry? And how did I feel in them? How did I react, right? And then do that as often as you want, as seldom as you want. Maybe if you do it a lot, you just write down a few words. Today I got super angry at blah for blah and it was awful. Like, it can be that short. You're writing about the thing that you're working on, and you do it regularly enough that later, so maybe a month later, I'm writing and I look back at my first entries from a month ago and I'm like, wow, this is not the same. This is not the same. Yeah? It's also the other thing that's really, so you see like how you're improving. The other thing is you start to notice like the wisdom that's coming through you. Like, as you, from the first day you start reading what you thought, you're like, wow, that's pretty good. I should remember that. That's a helpful tip. And there'll be little things sprinkled through that will help you. And you can, that's helpful. I'm going to remember that next time that happens. I'm going to take this little piece of advice, this little thought I had, this little word, this little power nugget that I put in here, and I'm going to remember that. And the next time that happens, it's going to help me. So journaling is a really good way to see your progress over time, to see whether you're better. Another way, this one's a little trickier, is to talk to people, to talk to someone. Oh, why is it trickier? Because you need to, well, it's most helpful if you know the person well enough and you trust them well enough and they are wise and or experienced enough that you can tell them what's going on and where you are and be honest about it. And they are going to be able to not be triggered by it and feed back to you honestly what they think and feel. It's not so much that this is not because they're healing you or coaching you or this kind of stuff. It's more that they are being like a benchmark for you, because they will notice how you're talking about it differently. And you will hear yourself saying it to them differently, right? So you're not saying this to them because you want their help or their coaching or their healing. Like, your healer is not the person. I mean, that's one person, but I mean someone else, right? Someone in your life that knows you, that you trust, that you can talk to, that can feed back to you. Oh yeah, you know what, Elena, you're talking about anger really differently now than you were a month ago. Really? Yeah, because you were saying this, this, and this, and now you're saying that, that, and that. Ah, yeah, true. Right? Okay. So those are the 3 ways that I know of that I use a lot. And so it's, again, so how do I know I'm healing? 3 ways. Notice triggers and or stimuluses, whatever you want to think of them, things that would normally really get me. How am I reacting to those, and is that changing? Journaling, because I can see the changes over time because I write them. As little or as often as you want, can be quick, can be long, doesn't matter, just do it, you know, enough that you can see what's happening. You can also, this is great also because you keep your little nuggets around. Very good. Or talking to someone who you trust and who's not going to be freaked out and triggered by what you're saying, who can stay calm, and who's not going to try and fix you. Right? Okay. I hope that helps. Take care and see you next time.